G'day everybody, Simon here, Explosive Action, back for part 3 of my OG 80s metal vinyl update. This is the last one, so let's get into it. So I have managed to get this into 3 parts. This is the last one, I don't have any more on the way. This has been a pretty good haul, it's got to be said. We've got 9 albums here to show. 8 of them are anywhere between heavy metal and power metal, speed metal and thrash metal. But the final one is actually some pretty early death metal that's heavily influenced on thrash. So don't be too scared by that one. The first one we're going to take a look at here has a fantastic cover and is one of those bands I didn't know too much about, but I did know it was going to be good. This is Asgard with In the Ancient Days. Man, with a cover like that, you're totally expecting power metal. I don't blame you. I kind of did too. But really, this is like a better described as a mix between like the raw speed metal of like Show No Mercy's Slayer, with the fast riffing, barking vocals and the punchy drums, and sort of like the gritty German bands like Living Death or Deathrow. That's actually what you get here with Asgard. Um, and a whole bunch of like just regular straight up heavy metal in like 4/4 time. Like it's one of those ones on the edge there where they're like straight metal and then speed metal, and we're blurring the lines there a bit. It That's what I kind of find quite interesting with this one, where it just switches it up between the songs. But they also do it even more interestingly in the song. So it'll be a song that goes sort of speed metal, and then it'll drop back to just regular. Oh, we're into a heavy metal song now, and then it'll go into a speed metal song again. And I've found that quite interesting in here. I can't think of many others that have kind of done that style so well and mixed. Kind of threw me, but in a good way. They chuck in a good guitar solo just to round it all out. Take a look at the back on here. There's the guys looking incredibly metal. Lots of blue denim there. There's a Canadian tuxedo right there. The third track on this one, Witch's Brew, particularly good one. They're starting to sound like the album cover a little bit on this one, getting a little bit more epic, a bit more power metal. Has a sort of spoken word intro about entering a witch's house. It's all spooky. Then it goes into like this chuggy, more slower track, real just heavy sound to it. I really like the raw, well, maybe not raw, but it's just unaltered production on this. It's just very realistic, very good. The sound of the hi-hat cymbal, that's what I really like. The drums are really nice, but the drums themselves just overall just have such a warm feeling to them, and the hi-hat, that's what makes me think of the Show No Mercy sound. Like you'll hear it when you listen to it, you go, that drum sounds like early Slayer, and it really does. Really good. The side B opening here, Hounds of Hell, kind of threw me off with a song title like that. Starts off with like a soft bass guitar intro, another spoken word piece, but then it gets a little bit demonic sounding. We're not sort of your nice Asgard gods here. We're no. We're very evil. Jesus, that's a big turtle. I don't know what's going on down there. That track, Hounds of Hell, lots of talk about Satan in that one, and of course the Hounds of Hell. Again, it's kind of chuggy one with some really interesting leads in that as well. Very good. Does seem a little bit aimless, that particular one. Like it's not the best track on the album, we'll put it that way. But going back over here, the next one, Screaming Night. That's what you're here for. That's got that staccato speed metal riff with a real ferocity to it. Short, tasteful Spanish guitar piece there with the track What is it? Granadinas, Grandmas. I don't know. Which was cool, and then it leads into the final track called Metal Tonight. And of course, with these kind of albums, you're gonna get a track that's literally about metal. It's kind of their attempt at like an anthem, I think. Lyrics: "We want a metal revolution. Metal is the only solution." And hear to that. Hear to that. We do want a metal revolution. It is the only solution. One and Done Band, they did do a demo in there as well. Yeah, good stuff. Oh, is it top tier? No, it's not top tier, but it's perfectly serviceable second tier. Speed metal, heavy metal, bit of power metal. Yeah, just a little bit uneven at times, but it's still really good stuff. Out on Noise. We're not going to be dominated by Roadrunner and Road Racer this time. That was kind of funny how that happened last time. Get your noise collage there of album covers. Always like getting one of those. Blank on the other side. And the previous owner put this in a nice MoFi sleeve. I don't have many of those, so yeah, very nice. And there's the noise logo there in the center. So yeah, good stuff. If you've done all the noise bands and you've missed out Asgard, give this one a go. It probably won't blow you away, but it's perfectly serviceable. Next up, we have another one-and-done band, this time from Wales in the UK. Heavily new wave of British heavy metal inspired, with a bit of a harder edge to it. Kind of like an 80s Judas Priest. And look at that cover. This is Prayer, whatever you want, with Terminator. That is the most 80s metal cover I have ever seen. It is absolutely sensational. I mean, we could just digest this one for hours. I think we're enough minutes in that it doesn't matter. I've got some blue boobies over there, but okay. This just demon thing with giant claws. This whole thing just looks like something you'd scribble in the back of a textbook in a boring double maths period. That's what's going on here. You're 15 years old. You're at the back of the class. The teacher's been waffling on about long division and algebra. You just couldn't give a piss, and you've drawn this. This is what's happened. I mean, look at this. He's got these like shield blades on his demonic shins. Either this thing is giant as well. And she's over here with long boots this is amazing. Absolutely. Anyway, so this is Prayer with Terminator. Like I said, it's kind of in that 80s Judas Priest style, or I reckon what I got from this one, if Accept's Fast as a Shark was this entire album, that's Prayer. So in a way, I really liked it. I did that Accept album a little while ago, and I dug the whole thing. And it's one of those bands that I think that's the album I want, and that's the album I'll keep. And I don't need anything else from Accept, I don't think. But the whole time I'm like, man, that first track, Fast as a Shark, kind of just blows the barn doors off, and nothing else really gets to that level again. Well, Prayer just said, well, we'll just do it for all the tracks. And here we are. God, that cover. Just anyway. Heavy, pounding, leather and chains, and spikes on his goddamn crotch. Bullet belts. Like, this is just metal incarnate. I mean, look at it. The two flying V's, and just, this guy is purest. I mean, he even looks like Udo, or like old Halford, or he actually looks incredibly like Halford there. It's probably not going to come across, but pre-shaved head Halford. There's that. Wow, this is so utterly metal. Yeah, I'm not cool enough for this band. But anyway, it's not the music is not going to change anybody's world or anyone's life. It is just a incredibly solid, fun, straight up, fast, heavy metal album from guys that look like this, that have covers that look like that. Everything you want. Guaranteed you're going to like this one. Good riffs from dual and guitarists. I mean, as I said, we got two flying V's there. Of course, they're going to be good. Gritty vocals there, presumably from our good value Rob Halford there in the middle. He hits some higher notes. Goes for that Halford kind of higher scream. I'd say the whole thing, though, the whole album, when you listen to it, it's foot tapping rather than head banging. Or it's like driving and you're just sort of tapping the steering wheel as you're driving, because it's so consistent. It's not a thrash album or anything like that. It's just consistent, speedy, heavy metal. It's exactly what I wanted from this thing. With a band called Prayer, with a logo like that, and an album called Terminator. The last song's called Riffarama. Just the song in here called Leather and Chains. I mean, come on. You know what you're getting with this. It's great. It's an old relic out on Ebony Records from 1986. I think it's brilliant. We had Master of Puppets come out the same year as this. Amazing. Stick to your guns, guys. Take a look inside. It is, just boring black, but you do get that cool Ebony Records logo there on the center. Beautiful neat. Basically unplayed. I don't think this was appreciated that much. Another cool looking there, the Ebony logo, like the skulls on the side. Yeah, good stuff. Made in England from an English band. Well, Welshman. Prayer, Terminator. Just, yeah. Next up, we have the third album from this Texas-based heavy metal quintet, and the only one I needed from their 1980s album output. This is Helstar with A Distant Thunder. And yes, I got the one with the lightning and the really cool-looking fingernails there. Yeah. It's the other one without the lightning on it doesn't look as interesting. It looks a lot more plain. You got to have the lightning coming out of your hands. A Distant Thunder. This is really quality stuff. Really soaring too. Fans of like Liege Lord's Master Control. Yep, right here for you. Agent Steel, Skeptic's Apocalypse, that kind of thing. Scanner, early Halloween, maybe our first album. Really, just yeah, this is good. This has got speed metal. It's got power metal, and it sounds quite European for a US band. I think they kind of always have to me, Helstar. Probably because the guitar work is just so excellent. It really is excellent guitar work. Has that Euro feel to it. From both players, dual guitars, good stuff. The third track, we'll flip it over. There's the band looking incredibly hairy. Wow, there's our two guitarists. They're probably the hairiest. So, yeah, the bass player up there is actually no vocalist. It's just hair. We liked our hair back then. It's amazing. But yeah, anyway, going out on the songs here. I reckon the third track, Abandoned Ship. That's when things really start cracking on this one. Really good lead trade-off on that. Very solid power metal feel throughout that particular track. Lots of double bass all the way through. James Rivera, vocalist there, one with the hair. He sounded a little bit to me like Warrell Dane from Sanctuary. R.I.P. And he hits the Bruce Dickinson notes a bit as well. So, yeah, good vocal performance on this one. The side B opener, what is it? Scorcher. I was about to say Sorcerer. Scorcher. It is a Scorcher. It's quite fast, a bit of a ripping one on that one. The next one, Genius of Insanity. No slouch. Again, hitting that double bass. Love a bit of double bass. These guys are not shy to do it. Jangly bass guitar in this one from our old mate Harry up there, 1/5 of the Harry Brigade. Yeah, very prominent bass, particularly in that song. Good stuff. Then there's an instrumental, The Whore of Babylon, which was good. It's borderline shreddy. So they're one of those bands where when they hit the instrumental, the two guitarists just showing off. And I'm here for that. Always good fun. Winds of War, a bit of an epic one. That's kind of getting to the Iron Maiden's sort of style there. I thought, a bit more traditional, bigger, big, yeah, Iron Maiden, big metal song, that one. So yeah. And lastly, I didn't talk much about side A, but lastly on side B, He's a Woman, She's a Man. I'm like, oh god, what have we got here? We have a Scorpions cover. Doesn't really sound like one, or if it does, I mean, I don't know the Scorpions from Ibarra, so I can't tell you, but I don't imagine the Scorpions had the quantity of double bass I heard in this song. This was bloody speed metal, essentially. Just, yeah, absolute belter. If that's a cover song, that's one of the better ones I've heard. So good stuff. This band is still going now. Helstar, still going, still doing stuff. They had an album in 2016 called Vampiro or Vampiro. Possibly related to the fourth album. The one after this one's called Nosferatu, which is generally considered their best from the 80s period. I reckon, Distant Thunder's sort of going toe to toe with Nosferatu. It's probably those two albums for me. They really, really hold up. They're really good, strong. Not going to say savage, just good, strong, powerish, speedish metal. Yeah, good stuff. Take a look inside on this one. We get a lyrics there. Has management by Starstruck Productions. That's got to have done the hair, poofy hair. There's the band. Looking a little bit more street. Got some folded arms there. So, yep, there you go. Massive thanks list. Good God. Good God, that's just insanity. That's probably one of the longest thanks lists I've ever seen. And this is out on Metal Blade. So, yeah, nice old Metal Blade logo there. Good condition. Good stuff. And really happy to fill in the blanks here. So now, as I said, I've got the first four. All the 1980s albums here by Helstar. Good one here, A Distant Thunder. We definitely have a bit of a theme tonight about completing runs, getting an 80s series all complete. This is another band I've just done that with, and it's a band I've already mentioned tonight as a bit of a comparison. But man, no one else really tries to sound as good as Deathrow. Riders of Doom. Classic. I was after this one for ages. It was proving quite hard to get. I actually got their fourth album before I got this one. That one's even more rare because the limited, very limited pressing, it was like 1990 or 91, I think that one came out. And I think, yeah, it's a very limited run. But I got that before I managed to get Riders of Doom. I would have also accepted the AKA Satan's Gift. Riders of Doom was the Euro press. Satan's Gift was the US press. Same song, same everything else. But, yep. Either or. I think the cover on Riders is probably better, a bit more interesting. Satan's Gift is, well, it's got a big devil on it, but he doesn't look as cool as these four Riders of the Apocalypse over here. So yeah, this is, if you sort of know their later albums, this is far less technical. Just a impressive thrash debut, really, right here. This is proper thrash. This isn't speed metal masquerading as thrash. This is a thrash album. First track on this one, flip it over, there's the band, looking incredibly thrash. Winds of Death, that was just an instrumental, like a mid-pace thing, sort of lulling you in there, getting like, okay, what are we going to get here? And then the Satan's Gift, which would have been the title track if we had the other variant. That's what you came here for. That is just a savage, loose thrash track that has the attitude, and the performance is about 10% above their actual capabilities. I love that with 80s bands and their first album, and they're just like, fucking plug it in and let's go. Let's rip it. And the drummer's like, Jesus, I can't keep up. The guitarist, these cables are falling out. I love that stuff, and that's what you get on this first album here. I might be, exaggerating a little bit, but not quite as loose as Bonded by Blood, but it's in the ballpark. So yeah, great track there from Satan's Gift. Probably, I mean, as I said, they're German, so I guess first album creator. That's probably a better parallel. Just ripping stuff. The next track, which I can call the title track on here, Riders of Doom. Isn't that funny that you can have two title tracks depending on which version of the album you've got? Anyway, Riders of Doom. That one just tears you in the face. Absolutely just ferocious bull terrier, rips off your nose. Hell's Ascent, next one. It's another instrumental, longer one. It's basically just a thrash track without the vocals. Okay, could have added some vocals, I don't care. And the final track on this one, Spider Attack. What a great name. Spider Attack. Again, just going for the jugular. There's a definite theme with these songs. Consistent approach. They open, pretty much all of them open with like a fast tremolo guitar, intro repeated 4 times, then the drums just come in off that, and then the vocals come in. And they all basically have that sort of formula. It's great. It really is. And newer bands like Biocancer, that's the formula they were doing on their first one. Ear-ripping thrash, I think the first one was called. They just basically were playing Deathrow, but just, South American. Anyway, this is great stuff. Real barked vocals. Of course, you get with this kind of early German thrash. He's certainly not going to give you a sing-song, that's for sure. And it's like the sound you can only get from a very youthful band. I mean, I don't know how young or old these guys are. I mean, they don't look very young, but, looking very Slayer there, actually. Milo on bass and vocals looking very Tom Araya. Anyway, whatever. I should stay over here. Slaughtered and Violent Omen. Great titles again. He's Slaughtered. What a great title. That continues the attack as you'd expect, just smashing you in the face. Dark Tales as well, but the final track, Sam Hain, which is, as you can see here with the sticker, ex-Sam Hain. This is what Deathrow used to be. So, we got like a third title track here. You get the name of your old band as a song. That is starting to show a hint of the technical and the progressive that you would start to get on the follow-up album, which is Raging Steel. So there is a bit of a progression starting with that one. But if you listen to, say, the first half of this album and then put on Raging Steel, it's night and day. But if you let this go all the way through and get your way to the last track on here, you'll start to get a bit of a closer, similarity. It'll flow better into the next album. Still a big change though when you get onto Raging Steel. But if you love the first album from all the Teutonic bands, Creator, Sodom, Destruction, like if you're in that wheelhouse, but you also like the first Exodus, Death Angel, Artillery, just the ripping early stuff, you're going to be all over this one from Deathrow, Riders of Doom, aka Satan's Gift. Take a look in here. Yeah, thrilled to get this one. We get the extended version of the noise collage there. Coming soon, a new Halloween LP, Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2. Can't wait for that. Coming out in 22nd of August, 88. So that'll be good fun when it comes out. And they're so good having these things. You just tick off what you've got. Like, got it. Just great stuff. Plain on the back. And said it's Noise Records, so there you go. Nice Noise Records there. Again, wonderful condition. Couple of hairlines, but who cares? There you go. Riders of Doom, completing my run of the 80s and just into 1990, I think. Deathrow album collection. Great stuff here. Great stuff. Deathrow. Riders of Doom, aka Satan's Gift. Here's a slab of speedy power metal from 1988 from a Swedish act that is still going today and were completely new to me until I saw this cover and I went, yeah, I got to check this one out. This is Destiny with Atomic Winter, the second album from the band, and as I said, the only one I've heard. And it's a band that I believe is still going. But what you get on this cheeky-looking mad scientist kind of guy going on here, this is very big on that early metal church sound, with a bit of keyboard action thrown in as well. Very gritty but powerful vocals from, again, that kind of Rob Halford school. Heavy, chunky riff verses with more soaring choruses. They do like a good chorus in this. It's got some pretty peppery drums in there. Subdued, but there is some good double bass usage as well. And the leads in this really show the Swedish flair of the band. As you'd expect, that nice melody from Sweden. Even the back there looks kind of, Swedish and melodic and progressive a little bit there with all the triangles and all looking kind of serious and arty. You got a guy in there called Jorgen Peterson. I don't know why I felt like calling him out, but I did. Anyway, reminded me a little bit of Sanctuary when they get into their very Swedish melodic kind of stuff there. The band did an album before this in 1985. I've not heard, but I don't think it's got that true metal edge on this yet. It's listed on Discogs, I think, more as a hard rock album. And yeah, I can 85 to 88, and this is clearly metal as. So I guess they just heavied it up a bit, but I haven't heard it. So if you've heard the first Destiny, do let me know if it's good. I think there's definitely some studded wristbands on these guys. Let's actually do a bit of a check. Get some studded wristband action on here. No, too shadowy. We do have a skull. So there you go. There's some metal. We get a skull. So the track Spellbreaker, that particularly starts getting a bit more slow and heavy rocking sound to it. The backing vocals sound a bit like a charting arena band. So, it's starting, I don't want to say warning signs, but it was getting a lot more accessible at that point. But then it switches into fast mode, some ripping solos to really remind you that, no, we're actually a metal band. Don't worry. Not AOR territory here. We are a metal band. So that's good. Fourth track on that side, Beware. Again, it starts being a bit more of a straightforward rocking sound again. Conversely, though, side B opener, the Extreme Unction. I don't know what an unction is. Extreme Unction. Yeah, the Extreme Unction. I don't quite know what they're going about that. That one has that, again, except sort of fast as a shark sound going on there. So, yeah, that's good. Speed metal, I like the speed metal edge on that. Double bass that doesn't stop, like, all the way through. So that was good. Dark Heroes. That one flirts with the doom metal, for sure. That was a bit more sluggish and pounding, bit of Sabbath kind of feel going on there. Early Candlemass, I think, on that track, and the backing vocals again coming in doing this supporting sound. It really is just a mix of like, is it speed metal, is it power metal, is it heavy metal, is it doom metal? It's just metal that plays with all of the different subgenres here. And I think that's why it works. Atomic Winter. Um, yeah, I don't feel compelled to check out their entire discography. I don't think it's one of those bands I need to do that. I can be happy having this one representation from this Swedish band, and they love their triangles. I mean, there's one there, there's one on the edge of this, I don't know, weird homemade sword, and then all the triangles there on the back. I don't know. Pythagoras was involved, I suppose. Take a look inside. There's the record. Nice and shiny. We're out on US Metal Records. What kind of generic name is that? US Metal Records. There's the inner. Got some thanks lists there. Another huge thanks list. Triangle and some lyrics. So yeah, good stuff. Atomic Winter by Destiny. Band I hadn't heard, and a band, yeah, really enjoyed this one. Next up, we have another Swedish band and another one and done band. And I know at least one person out there that's going to be very happy and is going to spill their ginger ale in excitement when I show. Agony, the first Defiance. Fairly standard looking cover there with the logo in the front and center, but nice looking caves and stuff going on. The first Defiance. Yeah, this is good. This band started actually as a bit of a hardcore punk band in the early part of the 80s. But this, their only full length, is just straight up thrash metal. Vocally, you can hear a little bit of crossover in there. You know, the hardcore punks leaked in a little bit into the vocals, but not much in the music. This is just thrash. This fits in nicely with fellow countryman Mesro, who came a little bit later. But yeah, definitely hear that similarity in the sound here, as well as just some nasty sort of Dark Angel style riffs. Like I said, this is just thrash. 5-piece, dual guitars, ripping stuff. The Swedish influence is not that noticeable when it comes to, like, you know, the melodic guitar playing or anything like that. The traditional high melodicism that country likes to produce, not that evident on this. They may be from Sweden, but man, they're just concentrating on the speed and the thrash here. There's also a bit of a chunky sort of Anthrax sort of maybe, you know, second, third album Anthrax kind of edge there. Less than, you know, not so much like Annihilator style progressive getting on their Canadian thrash. Yeah, a bit more of that, you know, second, third album Anthrax, a little bit in there. A lot of Bay Area. Really, that's what it doesn't really sound Swedish, is what I'm saying. It does sound more like a Bay Area thrash band. Vocalist Pete Lundstrom, he passed away at some point. Has a very aggro early Slayer meets Exodus sound that really contributes, I think, to that Bay Area sound. And yeah, like I said, no melody at all. They just get in there, get the job done. There's the guys looking incredibly thrash. That is some serious hair, man. That's some poofball hair going on there. Bunch of denim jackets. I think it's an Overkill shirt there. That's good. Don't know what that one is. That's definitely Overkill. Feel the Fire. This guy looks like he's the model of the band. That's why they put him off to the side so he doesn't take away from poofy hair. Yeah, good stuff here from Agony. Mid-paced, like, it is ripping thrash, but not that super fast stuff. It is just consistently heavy and nasty sounding, but it is mostly mid-paced. Mid-paced to the faster side of that, not like the Deathrow. It's slower than the Deathrow, but man, they put their all into it, heavy as balls. Agony, the first, not the last, the first. Well, it is their last, the first and their last Defiance. It's all she wrote. The drums, I think, have a lot more fluidity than your traditional sort of 1-2 thrash beats. So that's what also made me think of that sort of couple of albums in Anthrax. Like, it was a little bit offbeat, like there was a bunch of that. Yeah, just gave it a bit of a different edge. Nice thrash collage here. All the bands doing fun stuff. Looks like there's a priest in this photo. Okay. Oh, there's some wide angles there. Look at that. Leg separation. Damn. Bullet belt. That's good. Another bullet belt. Yep. Looks like it's from the same photo shoot. He's got the same shirt on there. It's the same Overkill shirt. They've just gone to the parking garage, taken another shot. Got some thanks list down here. We're thanking Suicidal Mike from. He's the metal maniac apparently, and yeah, good stuff. I'm not going to go too much into that credits list. Take a look inside, and yeah, under one flag, nice coloured center ring there. Yeah, Agony, First Defiance. Could have done a more interesting cover art. That doesn't really matter though. Yeah, just ripping straight up thrash metal. Good stuff. Agony, First Defiance. Here's a fun 4-piece from the Netherlands with their very, very Manowar looking imagery here. Look at this stuff. Angus with Track of Doom. Oh man, we'll get into this cover artwork very soon. But yeah, mixed lyrics here about fantasy themes, and just being metal. It's a great mix here. They open with a nearly shreddy instrumental called The Centaur. We're on point with the themes here, showing off the guitar skills and the very pummeling double bass on that. The next track, we will flip over, get away from that artwork for a second. There's the band. Oh, dear idea. Yeah, there's the band. The next track on here called When Giants Collide. That's a standout, I think, for really speedy power metal. Totally, and this is really where it takes off. Totally aping something like Omen's Battle Cry. If you like Omen's Battle Cry, you should be checking this album out. I'd say even Warning of Danger, Battle Cry and Warning of Danger is really the template for what Angus were doing here on Track of Doom. It really was. Just a solid 80s sound to it. Clean bass guitar. It's easily audible. Very nice to hear that. Snappy drums throughout. But the snare, when they're not, like when it's really fast, I guess he's hitting it lighter and it's fine. But when it's just big hits, the snare sounds a little bit, I don't know, artificial. Maybe not like an early V drum or anything. I don't know. Probably the way it's mixed, but the snare drum can at times sound a little bit off. It's fine. It doesn't detract. It's all about the galloping riffs in this. So many good galloping riffs. Vocalist Edgar Lois, he really gives it his all. He hits the high notes quite frequently, particularly on the standout track. We'll flip back over here. Heavyweight Warrior. Man, that is a great one. He croons on this one. What can it be this night? The March of the Undead Army! That's my impression. It's the best you're ever going to get. And that's all the way through it. He's just singing that chorus so frequently. The March of the Undead Army. It's a ball terror of a track. Side B opens with a bit more of a softer start called Finally Out. Has a lot of yeah, all that kind of yeahs going on. I'm like, okay, we're going to go into power ballad territory. No, that was all a ruse. It becomes crushing speed metal and soon takes over pretty fast. So I was happy we didn't get all wimpy on that track. Fast forward, it's all good, but let's fast forward to the last track here, Lost Control. That's when the dragons and the warriors kind of leave us behind. And we get you, we haven't really had it so much in this update, but we get your token 80s cringe lyric song. Bound to have one, and we get one here. Here's some good notes from that one. Sweet woman, can you give me some wine? Alcohol is nice, and I love to feel fine. Sweet lady, is there something to feel high? Sex is nice, but it's the sensation that I like. Look at this art. Just look at it. Just dueling centaurs in a thunderstorm. We've got a mace. He's got a head on a spike of what looks like a politician. He's got an axe. I don't know if they're fighting each other or if they're in league and they've just come off and they've caught this guy. I reckon they're in league. I don't know if they're fighting each other. But this is just outstanding stuff. This is fantastic. This again is that kid at the back of the class, but this kid's got actual skill. And he's been playing Dungeons and Dragons, and he's been reading all of those Michael Moorcock fantasy books, and he's done that. He's got out the watercolor Derwents, and he's given this a bit of a scribble, and it's amazing. I love it. So good. Angus, Track of Doom, Dueling Centaurs. They did a follow-up album in 1987 called Warrior of the World. I'd love to pick that one up, but that's looking quite difficult to get an original of. Though that's saying that, well timed on me getting this. Both this one and the follow-up were reissued last month for the first time in God knows how long. Don't remember the name of the label, but yeah, you can get both their albums right now. They came out in the middle of April. Yeah, so there's a way of getting them. And I would definitely, at least I can recommend this one, because this is just great stuff. Just slightly cheesy, speedy power metal. Gives you everything you want. You get your dragons, you get your centaurs, and you get your cringy lyrics. It's just top shelf. So I encourage you to pick up something, get the new editions, go hunting for the old editions, but get some Angus into your life.
The heavy white warriors are ready for their attack.
Next up, we have the Sophomore and the final album from this Californian speed metal quintet. This is Abattoir with The Only Safe Place. From 1986, this came out. Pretty much picking up exactly where they left off in 1985's Vicious Attack. If you've not heard this band, which I'd be surprised if you're watching this and you don't know Abattoir, if you dig Agent Steel, if you dig Iron Angel, you are going to like this one. And when the band gets fast, which they do a few times, that first Megadeth album, that sort of starts to creep in a little bit too. But not really a thrash album, this, but neither was really the first Megadeth. That was very much a speed metal album. Yeah, with tracks like the title track on this one from The Only Safe Place, that's when you start hearing that faster Megadeth sort of thrash edge to it. But really, it's mostly about big, heavy, speedy, but big and heavy metal songs. There's the track Nothing Sacred. We'll flip it over. There's the band. Very shouty, very metal. Nothing Sacred on side one. That one's got a big metal chorus, sort of not quite sing along, but it's got a big sound to it. Features some impressive bass guitar playing on that one, distinctly separate from the riffs, so that was good. It did stand out. Even has a little bit of synth on it. Nothing too scary. Just added a bit of emphasis. Side B, good track on that one, Temptations of the Flesh. I'd say that is a good example of when the band is just being straight up heavy metal. That's probably a good example of that one. Fit onto an Iron Maiden album. I know I've mentioned that once before this update, but I get that feeling with that kind of track. We alternate between sort of that style of just straight up metal that's big and just oomph, and sort of faster, speedy power metal all the way through, particularly on the B-side. It just goes from one to the other, back and forth. So yeah, this is just solid stuff all the way through from Abattoir, both their albums. They did do sort of a demo, I think. Might have been, not sure if it was the 90s or even early 2000s or something, but they did come back together and do a demo that was a full-length album. But it, being a demo, it had no distribution. And then the band broke up like a month later. Not heard it. Don't know what it's like. But there is sort of a third album from Abattoir. You just probably can't really get it. Well, I don't even know if you can hear it. It might be on YouTube. Go check that out. But yeah, ably helped by the strong vocal presence of Mike Towers on this album. Abattoir, The Only Safe Place. Really strong. Yeah, heavy metal, speed metal, that kind of stuff. It's all good. Out on Accord. Nice shiny black there. It's got a couple of hairlines, but whatever. Out on Accord. And yeah, back again. Nothing else in there, I don't think. Nope, empty as. Like my heart sometimes, empty as. And my stomach, getting quite hungry. Abattoir, The Only Safe Place. Good stuff. My absolute highlight for this 3-part series of what turned into be 26 albums. And this one is the one that's not going into the thrash speed heavy metal box. This one is going onto the death metal shelf, and I couldn't be happier to have it. Cancer to the Gory End, original press on Vinyl Solutions. Oh man, this was one of the top ones to get off my want list, and I was thrilled to get this. And I didn't get this from the big bulk lots, actually. This one showed up on Discogs and was sitting there for a little bit of time. But this is one of those times when I say, hit up yourself. If you see a thing on Discogs and you're like, I'd like that, but I'd like it 10% cheaper, send them a message. Ask them for photos, because with Discogs, you can't just see photos. They've got to email it to you. They're a defect in the system. I hope one day they have a built-in photo system. But anyway, So you get someone to email you photos, and once you've got them on the email chain, you say that looks great. How much can we do outside of Discogs? And that's if you're feeling trustworthy. I was feeling trustworthy, and I got a good deal. I got a few dollars off for this one, quite a few dollars. But enough about how I scored. This album is just top tier as far as I'm concerned, and it doesn't get the love it should. People know this because of the album cover, but man, people need to talk about this one a hell of a lot more. To the Gory End, 1990 debut from a band that clearly had a lot of thrash in them and was just getting into that really early death metal sound. 1990. And I think that helps if you're a fan of thrash and your interest in death metal lies with like the first Obituary, the first Deicide, the first Morbid Angel. Well, you should be adding To the Gory End by Cancer to that list because it's very much in that ballpark. Particularly, I think also the first Incubus, Serpent Temptation, I think that one's called. Yeah, that's into this ballpark. The first Benediction, Subconscious Terror. You're in that territory here of just that early death metal that's got a lot of thrash still in it. And that punchy Scott Burns production that I love so much that makes everything sound like Beneath the Remains from Sepultura. Great stuff here. There's the band. There's another Samhain, different Samhain. But yeah, opening with Bloodbath, what a cracking title. Just a mission statement. Ripped your face off straight away. Then goes into the second track, which is basically a thrash song with a sing-along death metal chorus. CFC or Cancer, fucking Cancer. That you'd be singing that one in the shower. That is so memorable. Such a great track. Witch Hunt on this one, the third track. That is a meaty groove to it. Definitely one of the heavier tracks on here. Real heavy bass that could demolish buildings. Strong song. Fast forward, I think, to side 2 here. We get the title track, To the Gory End. And I'm singing that one in my head because of the way he does the lines. That's To the Gory End. It's so good. Hugely memorable. And yeah, just like CFC, it's that chorus you're going to be singing along for days. To the Gory End, as your life will now fade. So good. Strong basis in thrash again with some of that chunky obituaryisms coming into it. Yeah, it's just I really do love this era of early death metal, like in Death themselves, of course. You know, the first 2 Death albums, just where it's just sort of thrash and then some, and that's what death metal was. I really do love it. It's nostalgic. It's warm. It's great stuff. And yeah, you just got to add To the Gory End to your collection of that. I don't want to say proto death metal because it is death metal, but it's just not the death metal that you'd get even 2 years later, 3 years later. Like 1993 death metal was very different to what you were getting at this time. And it's great. Really dug the final track just called Die Die. What a title. That one was heavy and mostly sluggish. Until it hits the final moments where it just takes you back to the speedy fury of Bloodbath at the start. So, yeah, really good. The vocals are really well enunciated too. So if that's something like, death metal's all Cookie Monster vocals. No, not here. Not with that early stuff. Not with your first Deicide. Not with it is with the first Obituary. That's just literally he's gargling on rocks. But yeah, first Morbid Angel, that kind of stuff. You can understand what's going on. You can definitely do that here with To the Gory End. Thrilled to have it. Take it inside. There's the LP, original, beautiful looking condition there. Fantastic on the vinyl solutions. There's reissues. I think Century Media picked it up, and the covers look crap. They're all blurry. You don't want them. Just save your pennies. Get the CD. Get the original LP. Whatever you can do. Make sure you pick up Cancer. There's the nice lyrics. Band photo. Great logo. Oop. Yeah. Thrilled to have it. To the Gory End. First album by Cancer. Amazing. And that's it. We're done. We've done our 3 OG metal record updates for Metal May. Not too sure what's coming up next, but I hope you've enjoyed checking out these albums. If you did, like and subscribe. Check out this thing. I'll see you next time.